everybody. Welcome to the Sisterhood Community Podcast. Today we have the lovely Jessica with us. So excited to hear her life story and just like really see a different perspective and get to know you better. Yeah. So today I want to talk to you about motherhood and the many challenges that you've experienced and how that relates to your childhood experiences. So yeah, like how would you describe your motherhood experience in its totality?
I feel like when I became a mother, so like just from the moment of like conception with my son, like I really feel that's when you become a mother. It's like once you know you're pregnant, you're a mom. Like you don't ever have to like whatever happens in that pregnancy, if that pregnancy does not come to like fruition, like you are still a mother. And so from like that moment, like knowing that I was like, there was life being created inside me, I was like, this is what I was born to do. Like, I never felt more myself than when I had my son. And it was like the most beautiful experience of my life, like this whole like I feel I feel that I'm definitely a different person than I was prior to motherhood, but I feel the most myself since becoming a mom. Yeah, it was like the weirdest thing. Having my baby and being like, I was born for this. Like, I was meant to do this. I always wanted to be a mom. Like, ever since I like became a big sister, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Like, I want to care for children. Um, so yeah, I've been really lucky to be able to do that. Like, motherhood is a huge blessing.
Man,
So
it's like the most beautiful experience and then the most like chaotic at times.
yeah, it definitely doesn't come without challenges.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's beautiful but messy.
I can say like when I became a mom to my daughter, well, even like you said, like at conception, you find out you're a mom, you just like start to prepare and you're already thinking about the child, what you want for them. So yeah, I also felt the same way. And it was like through mothering that I was able to see like who I was, the nurturing aspect, the caring, and then like what I didn't receive as a child. So it's been incredibly healing. And I think I've said this to you before, but it's like healing backwards. Because you're thinking about like, wow, I didn't receive this type of one-on-one attention. And then you're healing forward because you're able to like give that experience to your child and yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, my mom may have not given that to me, but it's like in a way, it's like I'm taking her shoes. I'm like my mom in that moment, and I'm like experiencing it.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. Like generationally, too, I just see it like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're all connected on a cellular level.
Yes. I think
So,
it helps us too when we become a mom, even though like we may mother differently than how our own moms did. It you can see sometimes why they may have done things in certain ways. Like you get a different perspective as a mom and a different appreciation, even though there's definitely things that were like scarring or challenging or different from how you would do it. You're like, oh, okay, I have a different understanding now being a mom myself. And I'm sure I'll have even more so as like my son grows up and
man, change.
with the different ages, like, because I of course don't fully remember how my like parents parented me as a toddler. Like I don't really have many memories of that, but I have plenty of memories as, a young child and teenager, a young adult. Like, so I'm sure as my own son grows, I will have even more like reflection on my own experiences and how I will, some ways that I may parent similarly, but also ways that I would parent differently.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Like, have you like really seen like through your own parenting style things that may have stemmed from childhood that you carried into your son's life? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that, I think when we were younger, growing up like in the 90s, things were there were just certain phrases that were common when we were growing up, like, oh, don't cry.
Yeah.
Stop crying, like, you're fine. Or, like, just not really giving much space to express emotions and to feel angry or feel hurt, like, or because I said so was also a very common phrase. Like, and so that's very much something that I'm not carrying into my son's life. Like, I want to give him space where expressing himself is like normal and trusting his caregivers is normal. And like to a certain extent, of course, like having discernment to what adult is trusting because not all of them are. And like having that confidence to trust himself and know like, okay, this is a safe adult and this is not a safe adult. Because I feel like we grew up as like, if they're an adult, you trust them.
Yeah.
Like that's just,
Or like stranger danger, but it's like I get adult wise, but at the same time, I don't know. For me, I do get the stranger danger thing.
oh yeah,
Yeah. I feel like not to get too far off subject, but I feel like my parents weren't open to new friendships, so it didn't allow like any type of other adults, like healthy adult figures in my life.
yeah, yeah, and that's important to have other people in your life who are pouring into your children who are safe, and then also giving them the tools to know the difference.
Yeah, and that goes back to like guiding our children to know who they are, to be themselves, which is rooted in knowing their emotions and knowing how they feel. So when we were basically taught to not listen to how we feel, to honor it, like I know me, I've had to learn who I am as an adult. And I've had to tend to my emotions, like the scary emotions I felt like I was doomed in, and grow from it and be like, oh, emotions are temporary and I can get through this, even if it feels like I cannot.
Yes.
So yeah, that's one thing I feel like our parents did. They either numbed their emotions or they suppressed them and they just didn't know how to navigate them. So they basically thought that's the way to live and they taught us those things. So yeah, it takes work to do that. And then like consciously like teach your children that it's okay to feel angry. That's a big one. It's okay to be sad. These emotions are fine, they're valid, even if at the moment I may be like overwhelmed with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like with my daughter, it was the anchor. So that's something like I've had to navigate. I'm like, okay, her frustration doesn't have to get me frustrated. Those are her emotions. Let me just back away. And then if I'm overwhelmed, allow her to feel it and then come back in and nurture her the best I can. So,
Right.
but yeah, that goes with allowing yourself to feel angry and being like, okay, it's okay to be angry. It's an emotion.
Yeah.
If we just kind of like acted like anger is unacceptable and that it has to be violent and aggressive, and it does not have to be that way.
Right.
We just need to learn how to navigate it healthily.
Yes.
And then, yeah, teach our children that way as well. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
I definitely, I want my children to feel comfortable expressing however they feel, even if like they're upset with me. Like I want them to be able to say that and for me to be able to create a space where I'm hearing that and I'm
Mm-hmm.
helping them work through that. And it's good to apologize to your children when you make a mistake, to
Mm-hmm.
recognize that and apologize. Um, and I feel like that maybe wasn't something that happened growing up, where like you get an apology from a parent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Parents can do
oh,
limited. Yeah. I know. I will say, like, my dad would apologize if he raised his voice. I could see the guilt and the shame, like, pouring from him. But yeah, the other way, like, my mother didn't. And I had to recognize it as an adult. Because a lot of times your parents or your caretakers can be your biggest, like, lesson, I'll say. Because you'll learn like through them if they're emotionally dismissive, like even as an adult, that really shows you what your childhood was probably like.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to put the puzzle pieces together and be like, oh, maybe this is why I didn't know how to healthfully express anger, frustration.
Yeah.
I was probably like yelled at and I got scared, and then now it turns into like victimhood. You feel like a victim to everything. So yeah. Yeah, great points, Megan. Um, so yeah, so as a mother, let's see, hold on. Let me see out here. What are some of like, as a little girl, I'll say, some of the beautiful experiences that you remember in your childhood?
I remember having a very close knit like relationship with my family. So with my like extended family. Like every holiday, every event was a big event. Like the family was all together. Um, and that was always really special to be able to have such a close relationship with cousins and aunts and uncles and just all gather together for like everybody's birthday, Christmas, Easter, like all the holidays, we would all get together and do something special.
That's nice.
And yeah, so that was always really cool to just, even though we all had different experiences, different backgrounds, different childhoods, different income levels, whatever that looked like, um, I knew for sure that I was going to see everyone at very specific points of the year.
That's really nice.
So, yeah.
So would you say like those were your most highlighted when it came to like your mother and father experiencing them during those times? Or did you have like other memories that you remember that were really great?
Yeah. My my mom was very involved in like everything we did. And so like I think now I appreciate it more than I did when I was that age. Like when I was that age and my mom basically worked at my middle school.
Yeah.
And my elementary school. And like she volunteered so much. She was there basically every day. And like I think as a child, I was like, here again, this is so embarrassing. But as an adult, I really appreciate that because I'm like, wow, like you wanted to be around us like that much that you literally at my school all day. You were with me all day. Like, and so like, yeah, even though there were parts of it that were embarrassing as a child or how I felt as a child, it was embarrassing. Now I'm like, no, like that was really special for her to do that. And take that time. Um, so yeah, that was, and she was like always at every like sporting event that we did, every like band concert, like everything. She was there. Um, and like my dad, I remember just like the shows that we would watch together, like the fun like songs that we would sing. And my dad is like an amazing cook. So even to this day, like he doesn't cook as much now into my like adulthood, and we don't see each other as frequently. But I remember like those things, like the meals that he would cook, and just when we did like enjoy family meals together. I feel like once I entered high school, we all ate in separate, separate places. Like okay, but yeah, I think like yeah, those are some of the moments. And then, yeah, the holidays too, just like seeing them interact with like their family members, their friends, um, helped me see like the importance of those close knit relationships and like how they feed into like your life and how they bring more like fullness to your life. So
That's great. Yeah. So would you say, like, as far as the great experiences, what are some of the things that you feel like you needed that maybe you didn't receive as a child?
yeah. Even though like with my mom being so heavily involved in everything, my dad wasn't so much. He like I don't know that I remember him being at any sporting like any event. Like maybe my graduation. Maybe my high school graduation, maybe. I think he was there. Like, um, or college graduation or whatever else. So yeah, I think for him, just more presence, more like emotional presence, emotional availability, um, more like awareness of, because my dad is like a big jokester, and but a lot of the things that he said, or like wouldn't fly these days. And you could not say some of the things that my dad said to me growing up. Like you couldn't say that now. It would not. It probably didn't fly then, but it definitely wouldn't fly now. Yeah. So yeah, just that more like emotional support, emotional awareness of like how your words affect your children and shape how they think about themselves. And like from my mom, as I got older, she very much like overshared a lot of her experiences and a lot of things that I likely didn't need to know, especially through like my parents' like separation and divorce and just that whole experience. Like there was a lot as a 15-year-old that I really did not need to be privy to. And was treated a lot more as like a friend or a therapist during that time. And like mothering my younger siblings a lot, which as an adult I can see now, like how hard of an experience that would have been, and like everything that my mother did during that experience to try to heal, like even though it negatively impacted us, like I have a little bit more of an understanding now as an adult, like how hurt she was, and how much her actions like reflected that hurt. But at the time when you're a child, you're like, what are you doing? I need you here at home at like 6 p.m. making me dinner. Like, yeah. Why am I here? Yeah. Making dinner as a 15-year-old. I mean, I get it. That happens. Yeah. Like, sometimes, some good stuff happens. It's okay. No shame to like the families that have to operate in that way. Yeah. I could definitely relate to that. So that's something I feel like we have more compassion for, like our mother and father, because you're able to see like what they were experiencing, that they navigated it the best that they could with the tools that they had. Um, I also feel like when you begin to like get more in tune with your emotions, you're just able to see like where they were at emotionally. Yeah. And like the maturity in it, and then you have compassion, and you're like, okay, I forgive you, and yeah, our experience, we wouldn't be who we are without those experiences, which is the beauty of it. Like, you wouldn't be the mother you are, I wouldn't be the mother I am had we not went through those. Um, so would you say uh, like with your father, the presence, him not showing that much presence, did that reflect in your relationships? Like throughout your teenage years and things. Oh, yeah. 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 I think I saw it, like, I saw that out in, like, the boys that I dated when I
Yeah.
was younger, or like into my college years. Like, I definitely accepted.
I was trying to mute my phone. Okay, there we go.
The technical difficulties.
Yes.
I definitely accepted some relationships that were less than, for sure, like
Yeah.
less than what I deserved. And like, yeah, just very much from even from like friendships I had, or like romantic relationships, um up until I really like recognized my worth and like what I deserved. I was just accepting like whoever would give me attention.
Yeah.
Like whoever would say I was pretty.
Yeah. It's like, I love you. Like, or you're everything to me.
Or I very much felt like my like people's acceptance of me was based on how much I was willing to give them. So like whether that was my time, my body, like whatever that was, it's like however much I was willing to give somebody, I yeah, I based like my acceptance on that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not going to be this forward with people, then like they're not gonna like me. They're not gonna date me. They're not gonna wanna be my friend. Like whatever. It was yeah, it was very much based on like how much effort I put into situations.
Yeah.
Or like what was said to me. So I think I made myself very small, and like I wasn't as open, or as I didn't stick up for myself as much, and kind of just let a lot of behaviors go because I wanted like friendships and relationships so badly to take to take the place of what I maybe didn't receive from the adults in my life.
Yeah, that's how it is. I also feel like, when we don't have someone that is emotionally there, we start basing our worth off of what others deem as acceptable. So as women, a lot of times men or boys, they're taught like women are physical, sexual. So that's how they approach us. It's like, oh, you're beautiful, or like, back then you're hot, whatever, sexy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, okay. And then we feel like, yeah, our worth is dependent on what we give sexually or how we look. So relationships are pretty just surface level. And then an I love you feels so explosive in our hearts. And we're like, oh, they love me and I love them. And this, this like, this thrill is what love feels like. And then what I've realized is when things get hard, when you feel any emotion that's not like joy and then you really can see like where that person is, and then you're able to see yourself like, okay, I'm seeking them to comfort me because I'm feeling depressed. When reality, like, I have to learn how to get through it. And at the same time, like,
Yeah.
yeah, see who's willing to support me. So yeah,
Yeah.
lots of like abandonment wounds can come into play, attachments, like unhealthy attachments. So you have to really learn like your deep traumas and pain of childhood to really like see yourself reflected in the other person, basically.
Yeah.
Because,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very much like I I was not able to like like emotionally express myself, or like recognize what I needed in a partnership for so long, because I would just like accept whatever was given to me.
Yeah.
Like, or I would just be so distraught over the ending of a relationship that like was not for me and was not even good for me. But you're just like craving that like, even if they're just giving you little pieces,
Yeah.
you're just like craving that next small piece of like affirmation.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
even though you should always feel affirmed in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And like people, granted, like people are going to disappoint you, like people are unreliable. Um, but like finding that person who you can like have those hard times with
Mm-hmm.
and like truly express yourself and know that it's a safe place to like be at your worst and they still accept you is like a beautiful place to come to
Mm-hmm.
compared to like a state of always wondering like am I enough for
Mm-hmm.
this person.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like when we don't know like who we are, like when we're younger and we're going off of those like abandonment wounds and we're like we want them to show us that affirmation. I feel like what's not realized is that um we are molding ourselves into who we feel like that person will accept. And we do make ourselves very small. Um, through my experience, I had to learn like what it was for me. I ended up wearing makeup all the time. I was going to the gym like 6 days a week for like 2 to 3 hours at a time because I was trying to maintain this image. I had like a very strict diet. It was like rice, grilled chicken, and broccoli. Like I'm talking for dinner almost every night. I just changed the sauce. So like yeah, it was so unhealthy. And the person that I was with at the time, they like loved the uptown lifestyle. We moved uptown.
I just want to make a quick
Yeah.
note. I like the like I just changed the sauce. I feel like
I just
it's a good metaphor for like the kind of relationships you accept.
yeah.
It's like the same person. You just changed the sauce a little bit.
Yeah, seriously. It got a little better.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Just add a barbecue or what's that? Yeah. Yeah, right. Or I change the seasoning.
Yeah,
I
there you
really
go.
would. The
Yeah.
seasoning or the sauce. So that was good. Good one. But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
What happened was, with
The
this,
uptown lifestyle.
yes, with this current relationship, we moved uptown and they wanted to go out all the time and drink and just get, like, as a woman, I wanted to get all dressed up and I would spend hours getting ready, like, and I would pick myself apart the entire time. I'd get so frustrated. I'd think my hair wasn't good, my makeup. It was sad when I look back on that because I look at pictures and I'm like, oh, you are absolutely stunning. But I didn't have anyone affirming that to me. And because I knew what type of woman they liked, based off of literally just who they followed on social media, who they were interacting with, who I saw them light up with, I like unconsciously, I wasn't aware of it, but I started to become that type of woman. And man, I like when I look back, I'm like, wow, I thought I needed to lose more weight. I was extremely muscular and so thin. And like it like scared me almost to see a photo of myself because I really felt like I wasn't thin enough or that the little bit of fat on my thigh needed to disappear. Um, and I feel like, when we don't have those like I'll say guardians, like our mother, father, our caretakers, pour into us and let us know how valuable and amazing we are for simply being alive and being our authentic expression, then we will look outside of ourselves and whatever anyone else deems is valuable, we become that.
Yeah.
And when you look at what's been created within society, how they view women, and then the young boys that like literally think that's how you're supposed to view a woman.
Right.
And then we're told this is how a man should be. They should just work and provide.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what else? Like, we think, like, give us a child. But there hasn't been like a healthy man represented, and there hasn't been a healthy woman represented, I feel like. Um, and when you don't have guardians like that, we just think, oh, this is just how we're supposed to live, and emotions are just, we just numb everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we get into relationships with no depth, and it isn't until we really face ourselves and we're like, okay, like, like for me, it was that relationship. Got very depressed, and I had to face myself. And when I felt like someone needed to heal me, I realized I needed to like take care of myself. And man, I went to yoga, and like it changed my life, because the thing about like when you're not connected with yourself and you don't know who you are, when you enter a space, or you just decide, I'm going to connect with my body, and like you start to feel safe within it. You're not like anxious around what someone thinks of you, or if someone's showing you affirmation. When you create that safety within yourself, you feel so good. And I feel like that's what we need in the world, is to literally be guided back to ourselves and be able to know how to create that safety within.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was yoga at the time. Like, and that's why I'm so passionate about yoga, because it's not just a physical practice. It's literally something that like brings you back to yourself. You can create that calm for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I just went into a child's pose. Like, the thing is, I had been wanting to go for so long, like for years. And when I was so depressed, like the only thing that felt good to me, like that I thought would be hurting myself. But I knew, like, because I was so numb, I had never felt that way. And I'm like, I want to feel something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just have these like idealizations of like going in the kitchen and taking a knife and cutting myself.
Mm.
And I like, after having a few of those, within like a couple minutes, I'm like, this isn't who I am. This isn't who I am. And I kept telling myself that.
Yeah.
And then it clicked, and I'm like, I'm going to yoga tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And for once in my life, like as in my adult years, I was like, you know what? I'm not, like, I wasn't scared to go. I just went. There was like 30 people. It was the biggest class.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care. I just showed up,
Mm-hmm.
and we entered child's pose, which is like, I don't know if you know, do you put your forehead on the ground? Yeah. And I took a few breaths, and I literally just cried and cried and cried for like 10 minutes. And, they were changing poses. I was just stuck. And it's the first time I felt like I was inside of my own body.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most beautiful experience. And yeah, it was wild, because I felt light again. I wasn't depressed anymore. And then I went to our apartment, and I'm like, this is when we talked about separating. But I went, and I'm like, I feel better. And he was like, he smiled, but at the same time, you couldn't tell he's like, this girl is crazy. And like, because I was in a whole new energy. And yeah, the relationship didn't last, but he really felt like I was crazy. But I'm like, yeah, and then I ended up shaving my head shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
So people thought that I had lost my mind.
You're having your Britney moment.
Yes, but with shaving the head too, it allowed me to see myself as beautiful,
Right.
without hair.
Yeah.
And like, I really was connecting with myself so deeply. I felt so amazing. And yeah, I was in the car, like I didn't have my hair, like, oh gosh, this is great. So yeah, I lost, well, I'll say I lost, but I didn't. But a lot of friends that I had at the time thought I had like a mental break, which, I mean, I did, but it was like an evolution of who I was. Yeah, it was actually a beautiful mental like break.
Yeah.
I wasn't chained,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, all those people just fell away, and I had me. And yeah, it's just been really beautiful since then. I've had to go through a lot of learning experiences though,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like when you finally see yourself, you're like a little girl again, and you're learning the world.
Mhm.
So I was really naive.
Yeah.
Oh, love and light. I love everybody. I saw love in everybody. I just felt this expansive love,
Mhm.
and I wanted to give it and give it. But I had to learn my own energy
Mhm.
and realize, like, okay, now I know who I am now. It's taken years to get here, but I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this isn't for me. Like, even jobs, I'm like, this, still, it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to go through, like, literally thinking about your childhood,
Mhm.
see your patterns, learn and grow, and yeah, just,
Yeah.
it's an incredibly hard.
Right. Learn to create a better experience for your own children
Yeah.
from what you learned growing up. And like, yeah, I would love to of course, when the time is appropriate to like share my experiences with my children.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully not to an extent where it's like an overshare. Because then, yeah, there's like parts of my life that like my children don't need to know,
Yeah.
like all the gory details of.
Yeah.
But at least like enough information to where I'm like, this is what I experienced. This is a consequence of that experience, of those actions. Um, and like I would love for you to not repeat them. So like, yeah, I think when you stop letting the world dictate who you are, and like for me, it was very much like growing my relationship with Jesus that truly like helped to change my life and like helped to change my perception of myself. And to say like your worth is not defined by the world, by what the world says, by what society says. Like it's defined by what like the word of God says. And what like he says about you is that you are wonderfully and perfectly made, and you are created in his image, and like he does not make mistakes. So like whatever anybody is trying to speak into your life, if it goes against that, it's not truth. And like you do not have to listen to that, you do not have to accept that. Like I want LB to know that like he's wonderfully and perfectly made. Like he is not a mistake. He's not like, if anybody tries to speak bad about him, like they're not for him. They're not for him. Like you said, like there's experiences that are not for you, and if they don't feel right in your gut, then you don't pursue them.
Yeah.
And like you can trust that. You can trust your gut. Like
Your nervous system.
yeah, like that's very much like in tune with how God created you. And like if you are in tune with that, then you know like this is not for me. Like, and can very much enter into like a more beautiful future for yourself, for your family, like whatever that looks like. Like, you don't have to accept the lies that society tries to feed you or that people in your life try to feed you if they're not speaking truth. So,
Yeah. And I love that because we've talked about, our religion and stuff before. And it's beautiful because, even though our beliefs are a little different, it all like comes down to like the core truth,
yeah.
Of like we're worthy as we are. And I feel like when you're connected with yourself, you're experiencing God energy, like the divine energy. Because when you forgive yourself and you show yourself like self love and you take care of yourself emotionally, you're literally, you're like experiencing the highest expression of who you are. And to me, I feel like that's the divine energy connected to God. People can say Jesus. Um, but yeah, when you're connected to yourself, you also see others. You see their innocence, their purity, even if they've done things throughout their lives. You're like,
Yeah.
you know that it's trauma. There's trauma there. You have more compassion. But when you haven't really done like some inner child healing or broken free from your patterns of forgiving yourself, you're not able to see people in that lens.
Yeah.
You more so see them through a wounded lens.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, I can't trust. Like you instantly, you basically shut yourself off.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I can't trust men because, you know, maybe your father wasn't healthy.
Right.
I can't trust women because you had experiences with your mom or your grandma or whoever. Um, and it's just so important, you know, to like pour into yourself and heal your deep woundings because it just allows you to feel lighter and to see all people as part of the divine.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I see God's energy. Like when the Bible says, you know, we're created in His image. I mean, we are like, you know, God experiencing itself. Um, and just how society has made it seem like all people are and like darker people are dangerous. And there's all these things that have been created for division to not bring people together, to not build community, to not learn from other people's experiences and know, like, yeah, they may look different or they may have had this background, but at the core,
Yeah.
we're all so similar. We all just want to have connections where we feel accepted, where we feel loved. And that's really the root of it all. That's the root of why people behave certain ways. They just want to be embraced.
Right.
It may come out as anger. It may, like, you know, it may come out in ways that are unpleasant.
Right.
But at its core, people just want to feel heard. And they want to feel like someone sees them. And, you know, when you haven't seen yourself clearly, it can come off in ways that are unpleasant,
Yeah.
you know, because you're like, you want this person to validate you and tend to you in ways that your mom, dad didn't. And, you know, it's not always their job.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can support, but at the same time, like, there's boundaries, and that's where discernment comes.
Right.
You know, because, yeah, you can see love in everybody, you can have compassion. You also have to be
Right.
extremely
Yeah.
discerning
Yeah.
because if you are not, then you could get yourself in some icky, sticky
Of course.
situations.
Yeah.
Situation. So,
Yeah. Like, yeah, just because like I I have been forgiven. Like God forgives. So then I can forgive others. But like forgiveness does not mean that you continue to allow that behavior or that you continue to, and I know we've like talked about this before, but you know, that you continue to like allow people into your life when they keep hurting you in the same way. Or like it's okay to set up those boundaries and to set up those like even with your own parents. Like
big one.
with your own family.
That's where it starts, I feel.
Setting up those boundaries of like just because you're my blood does not mean you can treat me in this way. And still having love for them, still having respect for them, but saying like, this is my boundary. And when you cross that boundary, these are the consequences. And like, that's perfectly okay to do. You don't have to feel guilty or shame for setting up those limits and having those expectations. And like, yes, you can see everybody as a child of God. You can have grace and compassion and love for everyone, for every person. But that doesn't mean you excuse actions. So like, yeah, I hope like my son grows up to respect others, but respect himself, respect his boundaries, and like, because I used to let people cross boundaries all the time and let people walk up like all over me, and I did not use my voice to tell people like when to stop. And I definitely want to create a space where like he feels that he can tell people when enough is enough and tell people when he's being hurt by them and to not allow that to continue. I think it's so important to just like, you know, if you wouldn't do that to another person, then don't accept it being done to you. Like,
Yeah. That's so
Or even
weird.
if you would do that to another, it's not right. Like,
Yeah.
knowing like, okay, this is the way to treat people.
Contradicted. Right, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That was beautiful. Yeah, I definitely feel like the boundaries thing was huge. You know, when you're not taught to voice yourself and you're not modeled that, it can feel so hard. And then what you do, you'll stay in situations that feel normal
Right.
because they're similar maybe to how you were treated growing up,
Right.
maybe even on an emotional or physical level. And it isn't until you just ask yourself, does this feel good? Like that's as simple as that. Does this feel good to my body, for my heart? How do I feel? Not worried so much about how the other person feels.
Right.
Like, you know, how do I feel? That's the biggest question we can ask ourselves. That I feel, you know, through our conditioning, many of us don't realize how we feel matters and we don't bother asking. So if you can be like, how do I feel? It can change your entire like experience. Like you can really decide what you want in your life,
Yeah.
who you want, where you want to be.
Right.
Like it can be hard. It can be very challenging to face yourself in that way, and facing the unknown can feel scary, but it's like it's necessary. And you know, if you want a different life or future, trust yourself enough to make those decisions and find support if you need support. Like I'll say that was something that was challenging for me. It's like seeking support.
Right.
You know, I was basically taught to get through everything myself.
Yeah.
So like you have to learn like it's okay to ask for support. You just never know who is willing to genuinely help or like support you. Say something that might help financially, anything. So
Yeah. That's definitely something I had to like learn growing up is asking for help. I still don't feel comfortable. Like there's still many situations where I'm like, I'll just do that myself. Or like, yeah, I still have a hard time being like not think like I don't know, being scared or like nervous to ask people for help because I either like, oh, I'm gonna burden somebody, or they're not going to want to be my friend anymore.
oh my gosh, yeah. You know,
They're not gonna really like me. And like all these things that like as a like, you know, a woman now, like you would think you wouldn't still be thinking about those things.
Yeah.
But I don't know, sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Like even asking like my partner for help sometimes.
Yeah.
Like can be challenging. Or asking in a way that like doesn't come off like because sometimes I feel like I will get a little bit snappy because I'm like not asking for something like right away, or I just expect something to be a very certain way and haven't expressed how to like make it that way. I just get upset and I'm like, that's you.
Yeah, I could have said something.
Express yourself like in a calm way first so that it doesn't get to the point where you're like, this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And that's also, you know, stems from like people pleasing and worrying too much about how others think and feel. So, how you feel matters. I was like, I realized even like these past few months, I've been like doing things and I'm like, am I doing this to like please the other person? I have to ask myself after certain situations. Like I feel like when you know, like as far as a specific woman, there's certain situations I'm like, did I just do that because they wanted me to, even though I don't feel like I even have the capacity to do it. I'm like, because then I do it and I'm like irritated and I'm like, oh, but I could have just been like, you know what? I said no and respectfully, I don't have the capacity right now. And it's okay. And how people feel about that, like if they react or anything like, aggressively, or if they're dismissive. It shows you where they're at. That's how they feel. But how you feel matters. And it's like, okay, you can feel that way, but you're not in control of me. I'm in control of me. And it shows the level of respect they have for you and how you feel.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. Like if you, yeah.
Yeah, that's like so important to model to our children. Also, like respecting, yeah, like we've said, respecting what you have the capacity for. And like, yeah, not just doing something out of expectation.
Yeah, because you don't want to get in a situation where you've been doing so much for some one person and then neglecting yourself, and then
Yeah, it has to be like a relationship
or friendship or anything.
whatever kind of relationship, whether it's love, friendship, whatever that is, a work relationship. Like, I'm going to say this and might be controversial. You don't have to do everything your boss says.
Watch out. Yeah, we have to get, yeah.
It's not even, at least not without question.
Yeah, and
Right?
even
Like, it's okay to have open conversation with the people, like whatever position you have, whatever people are in leadership, like if you feel a certain way about something, like just because they're your boss or just because they're whatever in whatever position they are, like it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to like have some pushback. And then if the reason makes sense to you, then you're like, okay, like just because whatever person is in authority, like it does not mean you have to do every single thing that they say if it doesn't feel right to you.
Yeah. And it just goes, how much do you care about my well-being? you know? And even did I interrupt you? I didn't.
No,
Okay.
good.
Even the word boss, I'm like, it's like making it seem like someone's above you. Not just like in a physical way, but it just seems so like controlling, because you can be the boss in your own life too. But it's just made it seem like you take orders from the boss. And I'm like, I don't like that term because I'm like, nobody's really above you, even if they have like a higher position in a facility type of thing. But yeah, that's why I also feel it's just so important that you learn, like we're expressing the things we've learned so you can share the wisdom with your children. Yeah, because how else are they going to know better if first you're not modeling it and then you're not sharing it with them?
Yeah. Like I think we've said a little bit earlier already is like we are our children's like first teachers. And like they are going to learn the most from us. Even if they spend, you know, 8 hours a day in a school setting or wherever they might be, that's, childcare, like they are still looking to us as their biggest role models. And so yeah, making sure we model the type of behavior that we want them to mimic. And making sure that we are modeling the kind of relationships that we want them to have. And the kind of partners that we want them to have. Like this is gonna sound weird, but like if my son wouldn't date a woman like me, then like, like then I need to check myself.
Yeah, for real.
Like if I want if I want him to find someone that has like the fruit of the spirit, like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, like
yes, self-control.
I need to have that. I need to model that. Because ultimately, like that's what we look towards. Like we look towards those like men and women in our lives that like have modeled characteristics. Like we will accept whatever is like modeled to us as normal. And so like yeah, I think for the longest time, that's what made it so hard to accept a good relationship, to accept a partner that like actually complimented me and like supported me and like told me it was okay for me to tell him how I felt and to like be mad um and to like walk through those emotions with me. Because like, what is this? It's not normal. Like, yes, this is weird. Like, but yeah, like I want my son and future children to grow up in an environment where like affection is shown and appreciation and like open conversation and like emotions like are shown. And then how to work through that. Yeah. Like as the unit. So yeah, because I very much agree that like whatever, like you're gonna carry that into have a parent, and whether that's like you're like I'm gonna do everything differently than how my parents did it, or yeah, my parents like did an excellent job. Like whichever like place you're in, you're going, yeah, you're gonna do it like either in rebellion or yeah, like in respect for.
Yeah, I like the quote too. It's like, do as I say, not as I do. And I'm like, because children, they're observant first. They observe everything. Even if you just watch, like, I know with my children, I can look at Lily and just watch her, like, looking at her dad or at Leo or me. And she's literally just like, yeah, because they're like, oh, this is how you act when you're sad or when you're frustrated or angry. This is what's normal. So they're learning, like, okay, this is how I express myself when I'm frustrated with myself or when I'm frustrated with another person. So if we modeled like frustration that is not pleasant, if we've been aggressive or anything, and then we get upset at our children for showing that very same behavior, we have to really look at ourselves and be like, okay, they learn this. Because yeah, they have anger, they learn anger like themselves, and it can be like, you have to guide them a little bit. But when
Especially with toddlers.
oh man,
That's a different kind of park.
I know, yeah. But say like they're growing up, they're like 6 or I don't know, up until whatever. And they're like still hitting things or they're screaming at people or they're saying things that aren't kind. It's like, okay, I can see where this stems from. Right. So now let me practice showing up differently for my child, right, but for yourself first, because it all stems from yourself. So let me practice like breathing through my anger, like regulating myself so that I don't project it on my children or on another person. Yeah. And then let me be more patient with them because I'm patient with myself now. So I can be patient with them as they're navigating this overwhelming feeling that they don't know how to get through healthily.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're learning how to be people.
And they're literally born into the world.
Right.
As souls, and like they don't know anything.
That's like, yes, that like 0 to 6 time frame is like so foundational.
Yeah.
For like their whole worldview.
Yeah.
And so if you are growing up in that 0 to 6 window, if you don't like have those found those like positive foundations, like yeah, that can set the pace for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and
That's so important.
Yeah.
You learn the most. I know. Literally like language, like you learn the most.
There's kids
that window.
Yeah, there's kids that know French and Spanish, and they're like 3 or 4, and you're like, what? They know 2 languages, and you realize like, wow, they're literally soak stuff in so easily. So yeah,
and I think that's what some parents miss is how capable their children are.
so good.
And is how much they can accomplish. Like a lot of people might be surprised by how much a 2-year-old can do. Like my child made his own eggs yesterday. Like almost all by himself.
Yeah.
With very little like help from me. And most people would be like, but that's a hot stove. Yeah, what do you mean? I was like, they are so capable. Like, and natural consequences are a thing. Not saying that you should put your children in really dangerous situations just to like teach them lessons, but like natural consequences happen. And like that is part of like that's a beautiful part of learning. Like a lot of times that will do the parenting for you.
And seriously, instead of trying to save them from every situation,
Yeah.
certain things, if you know, okay, they might fall and it's not very unsafe,
Right.
let them fall. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, don't let them run into open traffic.
Like,
Yeah,
but like,
that's not,
yeah.
that's not what I'm saying. But yeah, there are like, reasonable risks that you can let your children take to help them learn.
Yeah, let them run up to a goose. Like the other day, like my son wanted to run up to a goose, and at first I'm like, I do that, but I'm like, you know what? Right, let's just say he just might run away. So at the same time, go ahead. Like, let's see. It hissed. It scared him.
Right. So
I mean, if he won't do it again.
right.
But yeah,
Right.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're guiding them and you're willing to, it's like you're also willing to learn alongside them. Because I do feel like children can be our greatest teachers. First, it's our parents. We were child once. But if we're willing to learn from them, there's so much you can learn. You can learn patience. You can learn how to slow down. They go at their own pace until we rush them and we make them feel like urgency is normal. Like, they listen to their bodies, they express their emotions unapologetically.
Yeah.
They know what they want.
Oh yeah.
Why they want it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and how they feel is valid. But yeah, we have to have structure, of course, as a parent, a guardian. But like, yeah, it's just there's so much you can learn, and then you can really look at yourself and be like, wow, I was once like this.
Right.
Stern in how I expressed myself. I let people know what I didn't like. So
Right.
yeah, right. It's a beautiful thing. And then guiding them like cooking. Like, they are so capable. All they want to do is learn how to be in this world. And when you teach them something like putting on their shoes, getting dressed, washing their hands, anything, you'll see like they love doing it.
Yeah.
Like, once they learn, they're like, I want to do it myself.
They want to do everything that you do. Like, naturally, they want to do what you do. They don't need all of these toys or screens or like whatever else, media, whatever is like trying to tell you that your child needs. Like, they just need you. Like, they just need you. They just need your presence. They need like your direction and like they want to do what you do.
They're like, you're the greatest person to them.
So if they want to do what you do, make sure what you're doing is appropriate.
Yeah, model what you like to see in them.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. Like, can you look at your child and be like, well, can you look at yourself and be like, okay, is this a pattern I want my child to display?
Right.
Like, that's the biggest thing. If you're, and it's no judgment, I was there too. If you're drinking all the time, if you're doing drugs, if you're, I mean, anything. If you watch TV all the time, if you're doing all these things that aren't really like healthily pouring into yourself, do you want to see your child grow up and do the same thing? Like, really? Like, how can you be upset when they're like 21 and they're partying every night and they think alcohol is something to, like, the most enjoyable thing there is?
Right.
Like, this is how you have fun. You're teaching them this is how you loosen up.
Right.
And really, it's a suppression. You can loosen up without these things.
Right.
So,
Right.
how,
Find
yeah.
a positive outlet, find a community that is pouring into you.
Yeah,
Like
anything.
again, like you said, like no judgment, but only like wanting the best for your children. And that is going to stem from what you show them is common. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll wrap it up a little bit soon, but I also want to say, like, through my experience, it's been like funny in a way to see how, your parents respond to behaviors they displayed, but they judge you for it, but y'all didn't teach better. So that's something like as an adult, when you begin to recognize your patterns and stuff,
Yeah.
and then you set stern boundaries with your parents. Okay, when my child grows, I want them to be, even now, to be able to express how they feel, and for me to be like, I see how you feel that way, and I messed up, or I apologize,
Right. Yeah.
and create that safety again, so that there's this like
Like
this wall built,
yes.
that they feel is impossible to break through because you're not receptive to anything they're saying.
Yeah, like taking accountability and not always being on the defense.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like taking accountability and like you said, being receptive. Like, yeah.